Guys, very good evening. Thank you for joining for the session. I think we have just 2 more minutes. We'll kick off for the session. And thank you guys for the interaction as well. So currently I'm not giving you mute access. Once we go to question answer session, you can open your mic and talk. Although it is not mandatory, you can communicate over the chat as well. And yeah, so today's session, I'll be talking about what is the curriculum and detailed topics and why is it important and how the course runs, all those components. So that's the plan for today. Anyways, I'll be sharing the screen and let's give it a start in a while. So guys, any specific questions you have, feel free to type in the chat as and when time comes up, I'll cover it up. Okay. And I've been seeing most of your names on LinkedIn as well. You guys, thank you for commenting and encouraging me over there. And yeah. So yeah, it's time. Let's start the session. Okay. So first of all, a grand welcome to the NLP 100 hours course. So for you, it will be a numeric value, let's say 1 paisa per second. That's how I have put it across. There have been some questions over it as well. And for me, it's a categorical variable because it's a dream come true because teaching a depth course that do on a specific domain. I think not a lot of people have tried it up. So we have successfully completed the first batch and we are going into the second batch as of now. So the project took over in let's say April, and we are done with the first batch in October, and now we are enrolling for the second batch in the November. Let's start the session. I would like to talk about first the motivation for NLP 100 hours program. The reason why we started off this program is that a lot of data scientists, a lot of beginner level courses in the market, but as first data scientist job, once you get it, even before you get it, after you complete the beginner's job, a lot of people were not able to gain in-depth knowledge and proceed further. For example, there are a lot of courses for becoming a data scientist, but what about the courses to becoming an architect in let's say? So there's a guided path needed even for 1 year, 2 year data scientists is what I felt with my own experiences. That's why the reason we started a elaborate course. Generally, in any other course, you have seen 10 hours or 20 hours of NLP. No one has dared to cover 100 hours, but there is a huge scope. And second thing is like expensive education and thereby very high expectations in CTC also. Once you start spending more for a course, you expect the same in return for CTCs. And NLP, as of today, as it is advertised, it's not just an RNNs or BERTs or transfer learning, something like that. So it's much more actually, which has been not covered so far elsewhere. So that's the inspiration for all this kind of courses, right? So any questions for like, just give me 2 minutes. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay. Hey, Vamsi, this is an intro session. That's it. The actual course starts from November 12th. This is an okay. Let me go forward and continue the discussion. So, what's the flow today? We'll have discussion about what is the outcome if you pick up the course. then brief view of modules, and learning methodology, and timings and pricing, and questions. That's the flow for today. And I expect to close this off completely within an hour. It's 8:15. We'll be closing by 9 o'clock, and the questions will continue for last 15 minutes. Right? You can keep putting in the questions, but once I come at the end, I'll discuss all those questions. So if there is anything extra also, someone will address it. Anyways, all those questions will be addressed in the. So what's the outcome for you after the course? It's like building an end-to-end NLP projects. I hope you guys are aware how much important is the text in today's context. I won't go on giving reports saying that there's this many $1 billion industry and all. I'll give you a very simple example. 5 years ago, how much did you type? And today, how much are you typing? Either in your mobile or in your laptop, right? The amount of reviews you're writing, the amount of text you're going through, articles. So the consumption as well as production of the text has grown at least 10 times in each year in last 5 years. So that is the pace at which we are growing. And increasing globalization, language to language translations. And in addition, we have a new set of voice agents, chatbots coming up, which are revolutionizing computer science and customer support, right? So n number of applications are being created, especially using natural language. So if you ask me, what are the three types of data? One is image, the second is text, and the third is the numbers. While the traditional machine learning takes care of numbers, right? We need separate field for processing all this text. Just imagine how many reviews we are writing, how many comments we are generating on social media. The entire social media has revolutionized the world. And what is social media? It's completely predominantly text, though we also have computer vision in that. So you'll be working on the companies where end-to-end NLP projects are necessary, or you want to go for further research, master's or PhD, or you're just another data scientist, you are looking to improve your knowledge as well as depth in this field, and you want to become a banyan tree and not a bubble in this area wherein you cannot just fly. A lot of people say that AI and data science is a hype. So I would say you one thing: if it's really a hype, if it's really a bubble, if it has to burst, I'm never worried about it, because even if a bubble bursts, there is 20 to 30% of the jobs which are always safe. Do you want to be in that 20 to 30%? So then you'll be an expert in NLP. That's my promise, because 100 hours on this course is not an easy job. And you can teach as well with me if you prove really well with me for the next batch. And we have a section called Data Tales, which is also called Use Cases or Stories of the Data. You can develop in association with supervisedlearning.com, and you can get access to previously developed ones. So these are possible outcomes, and probably a job as well, NLP engineer. If you are already in data science field, then you can make a pitch for NLP jobs as well. So having said that, I'll talk about a brief view of modules today. I'll not take a lot of time and describe, but I need to tell you, a lot of people ask me, Prithvi, do you think 100 hours is required for natural language? Yes, I would say an emphatic yes, because the field is so huge. It's just that proper people don't understand the field, and they just cover it in 10 hours. Say stemming, lemmatization, sentiment analysis, movie reviews data set. Ho gaya. NLP is over. No, NLP is like an ocean. So these are our modules. We start with text understanding, text processing, modeling, classical NLP, and text applications, and NLP for social media, and deep learning for NLP. So all of them are equally important. If you ask me weightage, they'll be equally weighted actually. Let me give you a brief overview of each of them. think just give me a moment. Someone has annotated the screen. Okay. Do you guys see a? Okay, just give me a moment. Okay. So yes, there's some annotation from someone. Okay. So how does the language starts with? It starts with sounds, phonetics, and phonology. If you take an example of by, I can say by, bye, buy. All those things are called by. It is pronounced the same way. Now imagine how can Alexa resolve this ambiguity? If you say by, how does it resolve among those three words? Right? That's where it starts from. So, and then morphology is nothing but singular and plural. If you remember in the second and third classes, you might have got confused. What is this thing? Gases is called GASES, and boys girls you just add sometimes s, sometimes SSES. When do you add a prefix and when do you add a suffix is very confusing in many languages. That's called morphology. And all these are called ambiguities actually. So understanding language is a very ambiguous process. It's not straightforward. If it's a number, 4 is 4 in any language, but put is not put in any language. That's a simple thing. That's why a complete field called NLP exists. And when you talk about lexical understanding, let's say groundbreaking research versus groundbreaking ceremony. Do you think there is a difference for both of them? Groundbreaking. The first time is groundbreaking research. That means your research is actually really good, excellent. And when you say groundbreaking ceremony, before you construct a house, you do that groundbreak, where you literally break the ground. So how do computer understand? Both are different contexts. And in the world of digital, we have come across with a lot of words. In 2012, no one knows what is a selfie is, right? What's a phablet? What's a hashtag? Who started hashtag first? Twitter. And then everyone started hashtags. 5 years ago, none of these words existed. Communicating, discombobulation. Helicopter shot. Before Dhoni hit a shot like that, does anyone know it? Helicopter shot? I didn't hear it in my childhood, at least even before Dhoni came. Now, if you go with a vocabulary-based dictionary, the computer never understands it. When a new word comes, how will it figure out? Then the next level is syntactic and semantic analysis, the meanings basically. When you talk about, this is a line, popular line, the preferred people to board safe boats were old men and women. So that means a ship like Titanic is sinking, and who will be preferred? Old men and women. Now the confusion is, does this old belongs to only men or it belongs to men plus women? It can go to old men and every woman, or it can say old men and old women. How do you resolve that ambiguity? That's comes with phrasing and parsing and all. So there's a lot to understand the text. When I say understand the text, not as a human being, but how to make the computer understand it. So we'll study from zero to how the progress have been made so far. That's the text understanding module. The next module will be text processing. And so text processing module is predominantly a hands-on module. When we say 100 hours, we are not going to teach you 100 hours, okay? I mean, like 50 hours will be theory and the other 50 hours will be hands-on, because NLP is a theory-less topic, but more on hands-on topic. That's why we have come up with a lot of tutorials, literally a lot. The entire text processing will come under all these tutorials, each one. Maybe I won't introduce each one because it's a lot of time, but you might have understood a lot of them. SPECI, NLTK packages, or the statistical NLP analysis, and POS tagging, systematization. And by the way, we have a very elaborate tutorial on web scraping as well with beautiful soup. Regular expressions. So this is our strength basically. Text processing will equip with you. So once you are done with this, any text, any application you can process. And when we go to modeling, the modeling looks something like this. This is the crux of the machine learning. So when you talk about routine machine learning, or maybe you have done a Kaggle competition and all, where the data set is given to you and you have to download and just all are numbers. If it is a categorical, you convert it to encode or dummies, and numeric, you use it directly. So the matrix is ready to be trained. But how can you pass a word or a corpus set of documents into computer? Computer understands only numbers. Now, how do you make sense of words in the form of numbers? So any application, your next word prediction on WhatsApp you use, or a Google keyboard you use, Siri answering your questions, automatic answering the chatbots you see, or the reviews when you submit, they do a research and say this is containing some fake words, remove it. So all this kind of text-based applications, if they have to run, you have to use the computer, you have to make the computer understand the text in the form of numbers. So that's what we talk about in the text modeling. So one of the application is predicting next word, and this goes long up to text generation as well. So n-gram models is what we call as each word, how many times they have come, frequencies, normalized frequencies, then smoothed frequencies, interpolated frequencies. So to give a quick example, if I say Sachin and ask you to fill the next word, so if it's Prithvi and I'll say Sachin Bansal because I read a lot of entrepreneurship. But if someone like my friend Sachin Tripathi is there, he always loves sports. He'll say Sachin Tendulkar, or probably he will fill his own word. So it depends upon context. What is the next word? So how to get that context? That's the n-gram analysis. We'll study those n-gram models. And then this is a screenshot from Google News. I don't know how many of you use Google News, but if you look at this side, they have very efficiently categorized all the things. And even in each category, there are subcategories. Let's say I click sports and there are subcategories. Now, do you think everything is manual? Do you know how many news websites Google News has? See, Google News is not a new content creator. They aggregate content. Now, how many news websites are there? In that news websites, how many categories are there? Do you think Kabaddi is played in Mongolia? Then when you are scrapping a Mongolian website or a Turkey website, Kabaddi is not there, right? So my simple point here is you cannot hard code all these categories. Even this categories obtaining is also done with machine learning. And how do you do a simple news classifier based on each country, or let's say each area? So you have a corpus like this with each article's titles, and then you have some labels. These labels are obtained from let's say the article itself, keywords. And then you build some features like this and build models. Just give me. Yeah. So somebody answering it. Okay. So, and then you build features like this. So this is how do you build a machine learning model in NLP. Now, the whole circus for us is lying in what is this feature 1, what is this feature 2, what is this feature 3, feature 4. If it has been a normal machine learning project, Kaggle project, download some, if it is a Airbnb dataset or a housing price dataset, which location, which place, how is the size of area, number of bedrooms, done. What will you put here? Will you put words? Word 1, Then if you put word one, what will you put here? Word one, article one, what will you put? So that's the challenge in NLP. So we'll do clustering, we will do classification, we will do next word prediction, all those things in machine learning modeling or text modeling. When it comes to classical NLP, these are some things. So NLP is not a field which came in 2009, okay? Or which say after the Harvard Business Review said data scientist is sexiest job of 21st century. They didn't start working on NLP then. NLP is an age-old field. It's been there since 1970s and 80s. People have worked heavily in that. So in those days, we have statistical NLP or classical NLP, where it was more of a rule-based programming. When I say rules, this is the rules you can see. The boss ate soup at home. Then if you have to parse it, okay, the is determinant, n is. So they knew it. A sentence is not a tree. Sorry, a sentence is not a sequence. You might have seen a lot of deep learning applications in BERT or these pre-trained models, Google, Word2Vec and all. All these models assume that a sentence is a sequence. But in reality, all the sequential models have not done very good job in every model, every application. A few applications, sequential models have excelled. But still, NLP is a field which is ruled by rule-based programming, statistical NLP, which have been developed in 1990s and 1995s. So that's where we cover classical NLP. What is chunking? How to make a sentence into parts? What's parsing? We look at a Paninian grammar, which is a perspective. So I won't teach you grammar, but how grammar can be converted into computer. Then we'll do POS tagging, parts of speech tagging from HMM, and we'll cover up context-free grammars also. See, this goes a bit theoretical, but these are the foundations basically for any application. And finally, we'll come to NLP applications. Again, very rich application set. We'll talk about sentiment analysis, co-reference resolution, word sense disambiguation, name recognition, machine translation. These are all applications which I have to define the problem statements for a long time. But let me tell you, this forms 80 to 70% of the real world problems. So sentiment analysis, you must probably have heard about. It's not again 2000s cutting. It has been there 1990s. So product reviews on social media to medicine side effects to cyberbullying to spam detection, we're doing sentiment analysis. 7,000 research papers have been published on sentiment analysis till today. Only one area in NLP. And really good solutions are available in market. But even today, if you know proper sentiment analysis, I'm damn sure so companies like Gramnair or Phenom people in Hyderabad will hire you right away. So anger versus happy, anger and grief. So what are the difference basically? So anger and happy, anyone can do it easily. Today's technologies, ready-made package. But if you have to talk about anger and grief, which are very close emotions, but you have to differentiate it. So emotions detection through text is also very, very gaining popular analysis. Emotion analysis, because people wanted to see if you let's say I come across a dairy milk ad, they are very popular for putting the love based ads, or let's say Anand Mahindra, he always tweets about good cause related tweets, emotions. So I wanted to analyze what is the emotions of people on their tweets. Probably each of them, both examples, they get 5,000 to 10,000 retweets. Who will analyze all those things manually? Now, if so, and I don't want a happy or sad thing. I know Anand Mahindra will get all happy tweets only. He was never controversial figure. Okay. Now, if you say, I'll tell you how much happiness it is, I'm not interested in it. I want detailed emotions, like how many say inspiring, how many say he's motivating, how many have so deep analysis of reviews are the need of the day. even you might have seen your popular phones. Let's say go to Amazon and look at the Redmi Note series, or let's say OnePlus 7T. I'm damn sure you'll get 30,000 reviews or 20,000 reviews. Do you really have time to do it? And can you really trust that 4.8 4.7 rating they give? You want more information, right? Somewhere between 4.7 and somewhere between 20,000 reviews, you want something in a summary which you can do for 5 minutes. Okay, Amazon has a team to do it, but what about the small chota-mota companies, right? So that's the potential there. By the way, this is called, anyone knows what is this called? This is called word cloud. So we try to see how frequent words are and build a word cloud on it. So this was taken from research papers, actually, all those 7,000 papers. Yeah. So you will be able to do a word cloud also. I'll teach you how to do word cloud with increasing and decreasing frequencies. And you have an, in Tableau, we have one more resource. Our team member Aman creates very interesting dashboards using NLP in Tableau. We'll have one session on that as well. So finally, use cases are something, the core of our course, because I don't believe in theory teaching and teaching some tutorials and then leaving people. So we'll take from end-to-end models some of the use cases. We solved for a question answer similarity and identifying deception, spam, and healthcare tickets classification. I mean, these are the tickets which are obtained from consumers for a real call center. And email author identification. Without knowing the author's name, we will figure out who wrote it from the writing patterns and the text patterns. And factoid question answering. So a lot of people say they will teach you chatbot. What they actually teach you is go and integrate Dialogflow or some other APIs into your, and that's it, you're done. But here in an NLP 100-hour course, I'll make you do a chatbot from the scratch. That means no APIs. What happens underneath API is what I will teach you. So these are the use cases, and review analytics of some snack items. Recently, an industry expert asked us. So we have scrapped a lot of reviews for snack items like chips, and we try to do an analytics on that, analytical dashboard. We'll do workout on that. And this stands apart. AI for Positive India. The Positive India is one of my initiatives, and where we talk about heartwarming and stories and all. So it's not about the positive story. Some, let's say India wins a match in South Africa, against South Africa, test series. I'm not bothered about it. I have nothing against it, but we are not against celebrity news. We are more interested in a person who runs a marathon for women empowerment, or a librarian who donated all his pension to build up a new school. Some sort of articles we are trying to do it. So this initiative has been recognized by Narendra Modi last year around this time itself. So this website is run by me. We continuously publish articles once in a while. And what we also do is that we collect articles from all over the internet using this heartwarmingness. Like, getting a positive story is not a difficult task, but getting a heartwarming and inspiring or a community development related stories too challenging. So that's where we have come into picture, and I think someone is typing in the chat. Yeah. Okay. That's where we come into picture, and we have already developed 60 to 70% of the model to predict the heartwarmingness and reduce our human effort. So this will be one of the use cases which we will be discussing it. And I'm working on this project as one of my thesis work at IIIT Hyderabad. where I'm pursuing my master's part-time. And finally, NLP for social media. One of the most challenge in social media is code mixing. When I say code mixing, there's a word I have written. Till junction tak aap cab pe aao, uske baad मैं pickup करता हूँ. This is the general chat messages you do. I'm damn sure most of the posts you keep on social media are also like this. Now, just imagine, I'll tell you in the class, if you say groundbreaking research, groundbreaking sermon itself is computer is confusing. Now, you put two languages, till junction is in English, tak aap cab is in Hindi. That is one challenge. And now Hindi, you have kept in it in English transliterated. That means you didn't use Hindi script. You used English script. That's how the challenge is in the social media as of now. We'll work on, see, code mixing is still in research. So we'll work on some research areas there, discussing on how we can solve. Then we'll solve some social network analysis also. That means how social network develops, how the noise in the data can be resolved, what are the privacy issues, and how to deal the scale issue in social network analysis. Then we'll cover a bit of graph theory basics and understanding influence propagation. When I say influence propagation, a lot of people ask me on LinkedIn, for example, Prithvi, how your post reach so many people? While I will be talking about only as a user, I will talk about content. A lot of people talk about do this, you'll get good content. But as a owner of a product, how LinkedIn prioritizes which content should get influence, which content should not get influence. So how to increase it and what is their metrics? So we'll touch upon influence propagations and how to build communities in social media. Again, not starting a group and adding people, not on user perspective, but in a LinkedIn perspective, they have 3 million communities, let's say. Out of 1 billion users, how did 3 million communities form? Why not 5 million? There's a lot of psychology involved in community development, the number of connections people form and all. We'll discuss that as well in NLP for social media. And finally, review analytics, which is one of my favorite topics. We have at least 3-4 use cases in review analytics itself. And finally, we'll come for deep learning for NLP. So this is the touching on the eyes. So we'll develop so we'll understand how to develop and learn word embeddings, SIBO model or GLOW model, or in your words, if I tell you, Google word to vec model. And then CNNs will use it for text classifications, and RNNs how to do language modeling and text generation. And machine translation, we'll talk about neural machine translation, RNNs, and other sequential models. So the deep learning part will not be an individual part separately, because all these things, when I say word embeddings, it will be covered in classification and clustering. When I say text classification, it goes in the text class. So they're clustered everywhere. So we will do, after every module has been covered in a statistical way, in a machine learning way, then we'll cover in a deep learning way. That's how it goes. And of course, we will teach you how to use TensorFlow as well as Keras for CNNs and RNNs. Some theory will be there also, brushing up for deep learning. And a lot of people ask me, yeah, we are also covering a module on pre-trained models. Let's say the BERT, we are talking about fast.ai model. A lot of pre-trained models are there in the market for these things. We'll be touching them as well. So that's it for the models, guys. Let me have a quick look at the chat questions. If they're relevant, I'll answer. And okay, a lot of people are logistic questions itself. Let me talk about. Someone saying that there's no sound. I hope everyone is hearing. Okay. I think Manikanta is taking care. Okay, let me go ahead and complete. There is just 10 more minutes I have. So how learning happens, that's what I'm looking at now. So each class, so we are planning classes in the morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. So 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., first 1 hour will be learning the concepts. So it happens through a live class, just like this class. We'll revise class notes also sometimes, and in-depth material will be shared, and quizzes on the concepts and doubts clarification. So class happens. After the class notes will be shared or slides will be shared, or sometimes I'll give you reference material as well. And then there will be a quiz. Module wise, we have quizzes that will test your concepts, and every class, and we will have a 10 minutes doubts answering session also, where you will be live interacting with me and you can answer the solve the doubts. And how does the coding demos look like? So instructor led demo, so I will take up the tutorial. These tutorials will be already uploaded on the course module. You can have a look at even before you come over. And I'll be sharing the screen like this, and I'll be teaching, and then I'll ask you to do a small task. And then after that, we'll have an assignments for you. And then you'll have a doubt answering session, and then you'll have doubts clarification as well. All those things in that 7 to 9 timings only will back up. And capstone project, by the way, guys, we have a capstone project as well. But the capstone project, I have a basic requirement. You guys need to complete assignments as well as quizzes. Only if you complete, I'll be working with you on the capstone project. So we'll be sharing some use cases with you, and we'll be sharing project statements as well. Then you can work on the code. We'll have a catch-up sessions also. Again, the same live mode, and I'll evaluate the code, and finally you can submit the project. And coming back to prerequisites also, a basic machine learning is what I expect. But if you don't have basic machine learning knowledge also, we'll be giving you with the free resources, very proven resources, and even some of my videos also. So you can brush up the machine learning concepts. Regarding Python, we'll have basic tutorials. The first class, even before the first class itself, we'll have a tutorial session wherein you will be accomplished with the Python as well. So I would say, I won't say zero prerequisites. Basic of Python, basic of ML will be good. If you don't have them, then first month you have to practice a lot. And the timings and recordings access. So 7 to 9 a.m. on Tuesday and Friday, that is the time which works best for us. Best energy in the morning, pleasant mind enhances learning. That's what we believe in. And weekends for you are reserved for practice. A lot of people are asking for the evening classes. I generally don't prefer evening classes because it is very difficult to focus on advanced topics in the evenings. And as I said, recordings access are available only for 15,000 and 25,000 guys. 10,000 people and 1,000 students, they only get to access the live classes only. And in case you miss, you always have an option to revise the code, all the course content. When I say course content slides, then not recording, the tutorials and the class notes will be shared, so you can manage. So total of 70 hours of live classes and 30 hours of recording, what we provide. And why this 30 hours of recording is because some of the modules, like let's say classical NLP, are some things which are let's say best understood in a recorded mode. That's why we do in that. So 70 hours will be spread over 3 months, and 30 hours recording content, which we will add you as the time goes on. So these are some of the predicted challenges. Classical NLP sometimes goes above the head. So if it reaches too much of depth, don't worry, just index it. Okay, topic name यही है. हाँ, बाद में or 2 years later I'll get an NLP job and my boss asks it. Then I will come back and learn. That kind of approach is necessary. Then hands-on is simple at start. A lot of people I observe this when I start text cleaning, text processing. हाँ ये तो बहुत simple है. They leave it, and once it comes to the end, they really cannot accomplish. So practice is what I always say. 15% of the classes may be rescheduled. That's maximum. Anything can happen. Rains in Hyderabad. My CM is really mad actually sometimes. He cancels buses. Buses won't run. Internet won't work. A lot of issues going on in Hyderabad. In the last 2 weeks, I have to, and the weather has been unpredictable. So anything may happen. That's why we reschedule the classes, which will be intimated a day before. That's a maximum percentage, not assured percentage. Sometimes my classes may go close early. Sometimes there might be infrastructure issues. We are running this platform LMS since last 2 years. There have been no issues. We have resolved most of them, but give us 48 business hours to resolve once we email. And yes. So that's all, guys. NLP challenge is ambiguity. We will solve it for you. And in case if you are really looking for in-depth knowledge and supporting our mission, then come on, join. And the people who are asking how to join, just go to the landing page, supervisedlearning.com, NLP 100 hours. Just click enroll now and pay. That's it. Done. Sorry, Vishnu, we don't run any discounts. This course is priced very affordably. That's the best we can do. Ashir, if you have completed all the course material, course content, then yeah, you can crack any interview. There is no specific interview preparation which will be required. So Bandari, if you are asking about the questions on the any of the concepts taught in the class, at the end of every class we have a doubt answering session. This WhatsApp group, I will reply on emails as well. In case an extra session is required only for doubts answering, we'll do that as well. Rashu, just email me your particular situation. If that is the case, I don't assure you, but yeah, we may consider. Rashu, you can, guys, any queries you have specifically, you can go to NLP supervised learning.com. That's where you can go and email me, as well as I have emailed you all the demo course access also. We have shared 5 classes recordings. You can go through the class recordings of last 5 batches as well, last 5 classes. Lot of course content, 2 or 3 use cases are uploaded. Then go enroll it and access it. Guys, anyone any other questions you have? Thank you, Ashir. Hope to see you in the class. Thank you, Anand, and thank you, Ashir, Shirbad. Good night, guys. Good night. So you're free to leave the session if you are clear with all the questions, and anyone who wants to stay back and ask questions, you're free to ask. Thank you, Vamsi. Thank you, Jishnu. Anushka, just email to learn@supervisedlearning.com and I'll send you the details. That's very nice of you, Rashu. You can always refer people. We have referral discounts as well. If you really refer, let me know in upfront. Yeah. Anand, don't worry about verification. We trust you. After you have uploaded everything, we trust you. We will give you access. But if in middle, let's say if we have to verify and see and it's not correct, then you'll have to be removed. So yeah, don't worry about verification and getting in. If you are submitted the form, all the documents, then you're in. Shubham, it depends upon scale, Shubham, about the students. If it crosses 100, more than 100, the students will get only live stream access. They cannot come on Zoom, and they have to watch it live stream on YouTube. That's the only thing. So if in the 10,000 module, you are assured place in Zoom, and then you can interact with me. If it is YouTube live, it will be difficult to interact. That too, if it crosses a scale, actually. Yeah. Good night, Anand. Thank you. Good night, Shubham. Thank you so much for joining. Good night, SVV. Great, Prasad. Thank you. You can guys go and enroll now. And we also have 2 weeks no questions asked and refund. Okay, Prasad. Okay, thank you, Prasad. Great, guys. See you again in the class. And by the way, you can ignore the next enrollment notifications or emails. You're free to end. Thank you, guys. Closing the meeting. Thank you for joining. See you again.